Welcome to the Crazy Agent Dinner Party. Part group therapy, part inspiration, entirely for real estate agents to dish on this crazy business we're in. And remember, real estate is crazy, and you don't have to be. Here are your hostesses with the mostesses, a combined 40 plus years in real estate, Coach Konversion Kourtney, and the real estate mom you never knew you needed, Amanda, the marketing mama. Our special guest today is R.H. Richards, real estate investor, entrepreneur, national team leader, co-founder of Investor Agent, and owner-CEO of Loan Mitigation Services. On today's menu, we're dishing up how to dominate a down market with short sale listings.
Woo! I'm tired of just
so
hearing
excited.
that.
I know, that's a very hefty resume that you
little bit of everything in there.
Well, welcome. I want to hear all about it, but how has your week been, agents? Of course, we're here to do a little bit of group therapy, but today I think we're going to be relying heavily on inspiration, and we have an amazing guest here today who's been talking to me about this for quite some time. But again, this is also you real estate agents, and we real estate agents can hopefully sell more real estate and have way more fun, or at least way more purpose in doing it with that resume. So, RH, for starters, wow, that's a lot of things. But when you say them out loud, it seems like they're not related, but they're all basically in that same genre of a new niche, or it's not a new niche, but it's a niche.
It is a
niche.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, the riches are in the niches, as they say. And, our company, Investor Agent, we have a bunch of buyers. We are investors. So we just learned this back in the day, and we got in front of these distressed asset types, and we learned how to zig and zag and get these things purchased and closed and create more transactions. And as we all know, and we're in the space, if we're doing transactions, we're happy, right?
Yeah,
we're doing business. And
otherwise, we're unemployed, right?
that's right.
wake up every day.
And
That's right.
creating a lot of seller solutions. We're making them happy still. And so it just has a lot of good karma with it.
I think that's great. I really do want to dig into dominating with short sale listings, because I remember, I had PTSD from it, from the 2008 market, but I just remember that there wasn't really a lot of guidance. Nobody knew what they were doing. And I remember even in the early days, even having to kind of train the bank people myself as an agent. I learned after the first couple ones where they're not even talking to each other. They don't know what's going on. Yeah. That if you knew what to do, then you really truly could dominate. And so let's really dig into understanding what the market is right now, and then really digging into this as a niche and not something that you need to shy away from, because you really can't shy away from it when you look at the data.
Well, I think it's important to talk about the current market. Right. I mean, we just came out of like this supernova market where funny money of, COVID just created like a hockey stick, and the market shot to the moon, and there was a lot of craziness going on. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. Like we can't, what I say is during COVID, it just seems like you couldn't buy a car, you couldn't buy a coat, a boat. Every lady had a Louis Vuitton on her shoulder, and you couldn't even leave the house or work. So it's like, what's going on here? Right. So that happened with real estate. But now the market has drastically changed. And as we spoke earlier, we're all feeling it, right? Investors are looking for deals because the market's still high. But even on the retail side, I mean, business is suffering, right? We know mortgage applications are at a 45-year low. Correct. 45-year low. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's the first business to, now we're already talking about an industry that's starving right now.
Correct.
Right? And they are high on the hog. But that trickles down, right? That trickles down to the retail side, because we're the ones requesting the loan apps, right? Or get those approved. And so there's a lot of pain in the economy right now. And we're seeing homes currently on the MLS, right? And this is simple data, but we know that 35% of the properties on the MLS are 100 plus days on the market. We know 35% of the homes on the MLS have price drops. We know roughly 25% of homes that go pending under contract, fall through, and get back active on the market. There's a lot of blood in the water right now, and agents don't know how to transition. We were lied to back in the day by NAR and whomever in the media saying, oh, the market's great, we just need more inventory. We see the inventory numbers. They're staggering, and it's only going to get more. So I'm a person that, really believes we're headed back for another 08 situation. And that's hard to hear. I know.
I don't want that to happen.
That's hard to hear, but if you listen to today's message, you can transition your business and you can really dominate in a down market like we did. Look, back in the day, we had a small boutique brokerage. We knew some of the biggest brokerages in Orlando that were suffering, closing doors. And and we were a small 7-person brokerage, and we're doing 60 closings a month.
Because you really
Because
knew this.
we understood the distressed assets, the pain in the economy, and how to bridge the gap between sellers and buyers. And if you understand how to do that, you're going to do quite well. I mean, we talked about back in the day, and again, if I think it's another '08 is on the horizon, from 2009 to 2015, just on short sale listings, $2.8 billion in commissions were paid out on HUDs from lenders just on short sale transactions.
That was a billion.
That's with a B. That's correct.
Right.
So there's a huge opportunity there, but you can't be like a typical agent and just have your head in the sand,
Right.
lay and pray and hope that the market's going to get great, or you listen to the news, or you listen to Barbara Cochran, she says, oh, that home prices are going to keep going up. These are false narratives, okay? And you shouldn't believe these. You should just look at what it feels like out there right now in your business.
Right.
And honestly, we're only in the second inning of a 9-inning game in terms of down market.
I appreciate, because we had talked about this earlier, and you said I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy, and it's important. I always say knowledge, when applied, is power. Not just knowledge is power. And so I believe that it's important to have these conversations to prepare agents of what's next. Both Amanda and I, we were in as realtors in the short sale boom at that time, right? Whatever you want to call it. Boss boom, bust.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that you're here and you're giving facts and you're giving detailed information, because I believe it's important that agents know, and it's a part of pivoting their business.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's one thing to just spit out doom and gloom like the average media outlet does every day. It creates wedges and makes everyone pissed off. But if there's a real solution, if there's real strategy, whether that's on the investment side of our business or the retail, if there's real strategy applied to help sellers out and make a business with it. I mean, look, saving someone or getting a seller in a short sale transaction to get out of a bad mortgage, get more time in their home, save their credit. Maybe in our company fights to get them up to $10,000 in relocation assistance paid by the lender on the HUD.
Wow.
So right now, a lot of sellers don't have two nickels rubbed together.
Right.
They're losing their house to a bad mortgage.
So when you say bad mortgage, because what I was thinking was going to be the antithesis of 2008 was because everybody got those 2.5. Like one of my mortgages is 2%. Like that is like free money basically.
Great. Yeah.
I have an investment condo that is a 3.75. I feel like shameful a little bit that it's an investment.
Yeah.
And now that's in the double digits sometimes. And so when you say a bad mortgage, the short sales or the Liz Pendens, like what makes it a bad mortgage? Why are we seeing more of these people? Or is it just the economy in general?
I just label it bad because they're in a tough situation.
Right.
Right. Like it sucks. Like they can't pay it. They're underwater. I just call it a bad mortgage. Doesn't mean like it was improperly done or robo-signer like back in the day. But it's just they're in a shitty situation and they need help. Right. I mean,
so it might be just more because economy, like it is nuts right now. People are struggling. What did you say earlier? You were caught between a
yeah, well, I mean, sometimes I say like you're either caught between a shit sandwich or a shit croissant. I mean,
right.
It sucks.
And it does.
And they are,
and
right?
so then you have a solution, and that can be for an agent who is struggling, which again, a lot of us are out there because it's just not the same, you know, especially when you're used to that faucet just, running.
Yeah, I mean, being in the business for as long as we have, I was surprised that we're even talking about short sales because I'm like, everybody's going to do whatever they can to stay in these mortgages. And so let's talk a little bit about that on the data that you're seeing and what you believe is going to happen.
Those shit croissants. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad out there. You know, we already know in terms of the overall health of the economy that consumer debt, i.e. mortgage loans, home loans, student loans, credit card, right? It's triple. It's historic highs of what it was in 08, right?
Wow.
We already know what inflation looks like. We already know what the interest rate looks like. You put that together and you're in between one of those two, right? So it's a bad scenario for buyers and for sellers. I mean, we talk about I was talking to my partner of investor agent, John Chin, before I got here, and I was looking at this chart about unemployment. And the growth rate of unemployment from last year to this year is 14%. Now, unemployment's not 14%. Wow. It's just the increase from last year is 14%.
Right.
And if you look at a chart, there's 8 different times, or roughly 8 different times, that this economy has drastically crashed. Mm-hmm. And when it hit 14%, it crashed.
That's always that time then.
It's right there. Every time it hit 14% year over year, it was just a really bad scenario after that. So,
well, I don't want to throw like a monkey wrench or get political, but do you feel like maybe if there is a change in November that maybe we won't be seeing that?
No, I don't think that's going to help. Honestly, like I'm not a fan of,
any of it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Me either. They can put a potato chip in there and who cares?
I'll just say I'm not a fan of today's current situation, right? And those who have probably like led the way, but we know that the Fed should have increased rates
long before they did.
Yes, long before they did.
And they should have decreased them.
Yes, correct.
Long ago.
Much sooner.
We really, in the business, we were anticipating that they would have well earlier on in the year, and it never happened.
Yeah.
And that's what was scary, because we're like, well, wait a minute. This is gonna continue. So you're projecting that it's gonna still continue even if there is a shift in.
So they talked about already that this administration will probably decrease rates twice this year.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone's supposed to get excited about that. They think like it's going to save the industry. But if rates are at 7 right now, I saw an authority speak on this yesterday, the rate will probably only go down to 6.5.
Exactly.
Does that get everyone really excited?
No.
Is that going to save the economy? No. And so what it is, it's just for political favor.
Correct.
It's like, hey, we're trying to help out, vote for me, what have you. But it doesn't matter. And honestly, when it comes to macroeconomics, I don't care what kind of Superman cape you have on. Look, I'm looking for a change, but even that change is going to really be playing like triage over the next 4 years, as opposed to like a quick fix.
Yeah. That's
right?
a really great analogy for it, because now I'm like sitting here like, okay, we can go in and rush in and be the ER agent and actually provide a service and help people, but also expand our book of business and the feathers in our caps. Yeah. And I think that's probably what steers everybody away from something like a short sale or understanding list pendants and things like that, because they just don't know about it. Yeah. And so you're saying you need to know about it, otherwise you're going to be dead in the water.
Well, your business is going to suffer. You're look, when I pull into Starbucks, just grab me a coffee, you're going to be out of business. I mean, in a different way of saying it.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate, or you're going to have to go find a job, and hopefully there's a job available.
But I think like 60% of agents got out in, what was it, the Jacksonville market? Is that
Jacksonville? About 60 were out of the game.
That's wild.
And I almost feel like we've lost a lot of agents right now.
Sure,
right?
yeah,
So
there's already,
And so I look at it as an opportunity for the agents who really want to dig their heels in.
Or to just give it a try, like a real try, and not just like pretend to be an agent, but actually have a passion for it. Because I think it's definitely an underserved market, and it's definitely not... nobody's like leading the well, you guys are leading the charge, but aside from you guys, there's really nobody leading the charge to really educate agents on how it goes, which if you're educated, and then you can therefore educate your consumer, everything is going to be okay. It's that unknown that is that looming doom and gloom for an agent, and then in turn their customer. So
let's talk about that, right? Because
I was going to say one quick thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, just one final thought in terms of like feeling good or getting in the business, but we know like the best form of marketing in our real estate industry is word of mouth.
Right.
It's word of mouth. And if you're helping a seller that I say is dealing with a bad mortgage or a really shitty situation, and you get them out of that debt, you save their credit, which we can talk about the particulars of why that's different than a foreclosure or bankruptcy. And then you can probably get them up to $10,000 in relocation assistance.
That's huge,
right? And you get them a fresh start for the next chapter in their life. That comes with a shit ton of great karma.
100%.
Right?
I still have many of my short sale people. I still, like from back in 2009, have helped them buy houses, have helped them refinance houses.
Yeah,
that is a huge thing that you can do with somebody, because it's very common, it's understandable, and there's a solution for it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be a homeowner or that you're a bad person. It's just the circumstances that you're in. And so let's think about it without emotion and with a game plan for. Again, we love real estate because it is building wealth, right? And we don't want to ever take away the American dream. We want to show people, hey, it's a new season, it's a new time, but that doesn't mean that you don't have, a future in real estate if you have a short sale.
I'm a real estate investor, and I bought a lot of homes, and I have that investor agent company, with John, and we've done quite well. But I've done short sales as a seller as well, right? A brokerage owner, a buyer's agent, listing agent, a buyer as an investor. Absolutely. And I had to short sell my own property, right?
Yep.
So I have been in that same foreclosure situation, feeling the heat, dealing with the stress, not dealing with the phone call, or just not wanting to deal with all the lender phone calls. And really, like, you have since the start of 2022, I think the start of 2022, it could be 2021, 60,000 homeowners in the state of Florida have been given what's called a lis pendens, a notice like, hey, we're coming back after your house.
Wow.
60,000. And the pain is really just starting to fester. Like that's been behind the scenes. So whatever you see, like, you know, the few short sales you see on the market or whatever, you look behind the curtain, there are people who cannot pay their mortgage and they need out.
Right.
Okay. And how you bridge the gap, and we bring the investor agent piece to the table because we have a huge investor buyer network that wants to buy these, because if they buy these, they can do a workout with the bank and it sells for less than what is owed on mortgage, hence the term short sale, right?
Yeah, you've got like
and
that.
So buyer can buy these, investor buyer can buy these at a discount. Their money only makes money if it's being spent. So
Correct.
as long as they can make money on an investment and a seller can get out of a deal,
it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I love it.
And so I'd like to dig into that
Sure.
because people are sitting on quite a bit of equity. So right now, how are you seeing that they owe more than what their home is worth?
So we know that people who purchased probably in 2023, they're probably already break even or underwater. Okay. We know nationwide that over $1 trillion of equity and home equity has already been wiped away. Okay. More is going to be wiped away. And it's just a matter of supply and demand. And right now, we have a lot of supply on the market, very little demand because our buyers can't qualify to buy them, right? Whether it's retail, the prices are still really high. So investors are just kind of like, you know, like
it doesn't make
we'll
sense.
wait.
Yeah, we've tried to do a few and you're like,
So
yeah.
we talked about interest rates. Doesn't matter if they come down a little bit. The only lever that can be pulled, right? The only lever that can be pulled to make sense to do transactions is the purchase price lever. It has to be pulled down. When incomes went up 5%, okay, and home prices went up 30 to 50%, there's an inequity there, right? Which is that gap that we call that unaffordability, right? Or affordability gap. That has to come back down to earth for it to make sense again. And so when that price lever gets pulled way down, the equity gets wiped away. Okay.
And now you're nationwide, right? So like that is specific to not any.
No,
one place.
that's simple macroeconomics. Now every market and state plays a little bit different. So there are different markets.
Well, like obviously California is feeling the pinch big time, but like
so Florida and California are the biggest markets, your biggest foreclosure states. They do the most short sale transactions, foreclosures. California, unlike Florida, is a non-judicial state, so they get in and out of their distressed assets in about a few years. Unlike Florida, where we just swim in distress because we're a judicial state, everything's caught up in the court system, what have you. So everyone comes here when their market dries up. Everyone comes here to play as an investor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how long have you been investing? Real estate.
So being the first to graduate college in my family, and then going on to law school and graduate law school, everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna be this great attorney." Well, then I took this job for this small real estate investment boutique brokerage, and so I got into real estate investing in 2005. I just liked getting involved. I liked knowing that the harder I worked, the more money I'd make. We all love that about real estate, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to sit in a box and push paper. So real estate was like my calling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have over 60 years experience here, right?
Woo!
Yay.
Woof, yeah.
And can you explain the process to people who don't have the knowledge or the experience that we have with pre-foreclosure, short sales, and just kind of give a rundown of what it looks like from beginning to end in a nutshell?
In terms,
In less than 26 minutes.
in terms of the short sale.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so so right now, again, like I mentioned, 50, 60,000 people have been given what's called a lis pendens. It's like an intent to come after debt, but in Florida, it's typically means it's a notice of foreclose to come after your house.
Yeah.
And so if you go and you look up this list source and you get lis pendens or pre-foreclosure list, you call, you market to them, right? Like I was doing a lot of B2C marketing, and that's where y'all are masters. You're professionals. Like you're like that, shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah.
That's why
real estate.
That's why I'm doing nothing but B2B marketing now. Like I'm business to business. I want to cater to listing agents. You guys are the oracles at getting listing agreements signed.
Right.
Perfect. I can help your business. So if you go and you identify a seller, Again, and we'll have a handoff or whatever after this to where they can learn more.
Oh, the weekly virtual to-go box.
Yeah,
It's actually really exciting. We'll
So
talk about that in a
we've got
minute.
a couple nice nuggets we can dump in there for them to learn this for free. Like, we're not selling a course or anything. Look, if I can help you, if I can help you zig and zag in the business, and you get a short sale, and I can help you close it, which is free, by the way. Our short sale processing service, which is a professional short sale processing service, it's 100% free for your clients, sellers, and listing agents.
Wow.
Okay. We get the lender to pay for our fee, or if the lender doesn't, we pass that fee off to the buyers at closing costs.
Wow.
And
that's revolutionary. That's awesome.
well, it's great. I mean, look, you're going to get a ton of expert knowledge. I'm going to help you with the file, or a company can help you
I think
with the
you
file.
hired one. Remember we were talking about that, because I actually loved it. I love like details. I'm very detail oriented, and I also love being right. And so when I was able to just keep notes diligently and like make it all happen, I loved short sales processing.
I think it's the commitment of a short sale negotiator and the time that it takes and that's involved with contacting the bank. I think it's
and
important.
The bank was unnerving back in the day. Banks, plural.
The way I paint it is doing a short sale can take 3 to 6 to 9 months. They're long transactions. So the goal for listing agents or your base out there is to go line up a bunch of clients, and we'll handle the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
Wow.
What that looks like in terms of a football field, if you run them out to the 5-yard line, you introduce them to my company, we'll do all the work and run it all the way down to the end zone, and I'll call you and I'll say, hey, we got approval on a closing coming up. So
I'm cheering for that.
If you're sitting behind
that's
a
the
desk,
icing on the cake right there.
That's
pretty awesome.
It's one of them, but I got some more. But if you're sitting behind a desk processing a short sale for 3 or 5 files, you're not making money. You're not working smart.
Right.
Working smart is to go find 100 clients that need your help, and I'll do your work for free.
Have somebody do that part for you. That's awesome.
We talk about the right butts and the right seats,
Yeah.
and that is definitely not a butt. Your butt doesn't need to be in that seat.
No, I need to be on. No, but honestly, so your question for him, because we're already almost at time today.
Yeah.
But for somebody out there that isn't aware of short sales, so they're going to get this notice, and essentially, then either the agent themselves or the seller or a short sale negotiating company like yourself, right? Or you guys are processing.
Yeah, processing.
Will basically make an agreement with the bank. Do they get it pre-approved? Do you get that pre-approved before you list?
So what happens
is it like half and half?
You put the house in the market, or you can bring it to us. We'll put a buyer in place. We can get it processed. But the bank is going to ask for very specific documents from all parties of the transaction.
Right.
We put that together. We're like the hub to the machine. We put that together, and we present what's called a lender package to the lender.
Mm-hmm.
One of the variables of the lender package equation is the offer to buy.
Mm-hmm.
They look at the offer. They're like, okay, we need to see if this is a legit offer. They order what's called a BPO, a broker price opinion, an abbreviated appraisal. They send that out. They get their value back. They match that against the offer, and they say approve, accept, or hey, we want a little bit more, or whatever. And then we just put the deal together, and we have a closing.
Well, that sounds really quick and easy.
Yeah.
I would say one of the heartbreaking things is when that happens and the bank is like, absolutely not.
Right.
And so there is that fine dance, which is why on the weekly virtual to-go box, what you are giving away, this free course, is really going to be pivotal for you agents, because there is a way around that. There is a way to really know that dance, to tango like a professional. And it really is about understanding the problems that you could face, and then being preemptively finding the solutions to them, because that has happened in a short sale negotiation before, and it's not a guarantee, but there are lots of things that you can do to make it almost a guarantee, if not already go ahead and get it pre-approved.
Well, our goal with LMS is, again, we've attacked these listing types forever as an investor, so we know where to look, what to say, what to do. If I can give your base or your community that knowledge,
yes,
then you go out there and dominate and line up 100 of these.
Yes.
And I can, like I said, do the work for you for free behind the scenes. That's what I'm looking for. That's the quid pro quo.
That's amazing.
I have one last question. Back in the day, taxes, there were tax implications on whatever the difference was. What are you seeing now with the short sales?
So they are still required to fill out that 4506 T, and it might be another letter for it now, I forget. But they are required to fill that out. But also there was something called a deficiency judgment back in the day, where lenders would go after. So if they owed $300 and they sold for $200, there's $100,000. They would come after them for that $100,000. Well, now the state of Florida doesn't really practice that.
Correct.
Lenders in Florida don't go after a deficiency judgment. We don't we don't promote a file, or we won't even let the bank approve a file to where they're coming back for that. Now, the tax implications, that's case by case. I've never heard one lender like go after them for that as income, but they do make you fill out that form. It probably just checks boxes for the lender.
It really does, honestly. Yeah. So for the last bite, you guys, the niche of dominating the short sales is something that you should not shy away from. It's got to be another feather in your cap. And just like any niche that you jump into, really jump into it. Really learn about it. Really make it a part of your weekly practice, if not daily, but definitely weekly practice to better yourself and better your craft. So you're not working at Starbucks, like RH said, but you're working in real estate, because it is truly the best business out there. Even though, y'all, real estate is crazy.
And you don't have to be.